Hello and welcome back to another video right here on the channel. So, first week of the month, as you all know by now, retro feature. Okay, so last month we done the Commodore Amiga and I ran down through the top 10 and that got an awful lot of love, to be fair. So naturally, what was the Amiga without its rival, if you like, the Atari ST guys? Okay, so sit back, grab a brew and enjoy my top 10 Atari ST games. So in at number 10 was North and South. This was just brilliant. There was nothing like it at the time. It was based on the American Civil War. You had to pick a side and you basically went across the map. You selected where you wanted to go. But the little quirk of this was there was like a little battle that played out. So you'd have like cannons, you'd have cavalry, and you'd have like infantry. So you'd move like your infantry across. And I think the idea would be is like it was like rock, paper, scissors, really, you know. So like a cannon take out cavalry take out infantry, etc, etc. It was like a little fun take on obviously something that wasn't fun, the American Civil War, but it was like a really unique game and I wasn't so much into the war games really, so I loved this one. Number 9, Battle Chess. This was great. Before Battle Chess, I'm not saying there weren't 3D animated chess games around. There probably were on a PC, to be fair, but they used to just be sort of two-dimensional above, you know, looking at the board and stuff. And first time I played Battle Chess, I just blew away. You know, the pieces come to life and like they basically fight. So like, you know, you move your pawn to take another pawn and they get into like a little fight, and you know, it was just nice. It made chess one of the oldest games in the world just even more entertaining. Fantastic little game. Number 8, Sim City. What is there to say about Sim City? It was probably one of the first open world games made. People may argue against earlier editions of different things, but Civilization maybe. But SimCity was great. You start off with like a plot of land, and you're basically like the city builder, stroke mayor, stroke politician. So you had to sort of like nominate little like industrial zones and like where little factories would be built, and residential zones where houses, and commercial where shops. You could build like little motorways and freeways and do like all your water pipes and your electric pipes and all that sort of stuff. You know, it was just really, really good. There was nothing like it at the time. And a fun little feature as well is you could save your city, and then you could bring disasters. So you'd have like tornadoes or tsunamis, or I think there was even a Godzilla monster that marched across your city to break it. So yeah, real fun little title. Number 7, Hunter. This was an absolutely amazing game. It was, to my knowledge, probably the first 3D, not so much open world, but it did feel like it at the time kind of game. You're like a commando, and you had to basically go around, and you could kind of walk in like little bases, and you could like jump in a jeep and drive that, and then jump in a boat, and I think there's actually a helicopter as well that you could do. And you could basically just use all these different vehicles, and I can't remember what the mission was. I think it was some sort of go along and find something, destroy something, whatever. But it really was a fun, immersive little game, and the ST could actually handle it with the processing power at the time as well. If you look at it now, it probably was slow, you know, compared to today's machines. But yeah, truly innovative little game. Number 6, what 16-bit list would not include the Bitmap Brothers Speedball 2 Brutal Deluxe? Absolutely brilliant game. It was a computer version of the old movie Rollerball, and you pick your team, and I think you could actually purchase different players and upgrade their armour and stuff. And the crux of the game basically was you would go along and it's like five-a-side meets rugby meets futuristic sport basically, and you'd have to steal ball, and you'd have to obviously score more goals than your opponents, but you could kind of like beat your opponents up and injure them. And there's like bonuses on the side of the arena, like if you threw your ball it kind of hit like a little star, and then you go and score a goal and you get 2 extra points and stuff like that. But just sheer brutal fun. Absolutely love Speedball 2. In at number 5 is a tennis game, Pass and Shot. This was amazing. The hours I spent, I mentioned my pal Carl last month on the Amiga. The hours Carl and I spent on this, we'd played doubles, and it's like top-down view. Up until then, tennis games had like one view, and it was just like the behind the player, and you'd be hitting into the screen like your opponent to hit the ball back. So Pass and Shot was something truly different. It nailed tennis at a time when I wasn't even interested in tennis, but it's just something to sit there with your buddy late into the night, sip a few beers, and try and win some championships. Number 4, Stunt Car Racer. Again, I think this list, probably more than the Amiga, is innovation. Stunt Car Racer was brilliant. It was just like a 3D racer. You drop this hot rod on top of this 3D course, and you'd be going along and you'd be like racing one other car, and there'd be like jumps and there'd be all sorts of mad stuff, and the physics on it were unbelievable. You take off like a ramp and you come down your car, you literally will bounce a couple of times, you know, and stuff. It was just really, really good. I think you could actually hook up another computer as well to it to get a 2-player. Don't quote me on that, but that does ring a bell. What list did we complete without a shooter? And in at number 3 is Xenon 2 Mega Blast. This was just great. Back in the day, I wasn't a massive shoot 'em up fan, but I'd sit there for like little periods, half an hour at a time, you know, after work or whatever, and just have a blast on this one. Your basic shoot 'em up. Shoot things, collect power-ups, get stronger, shoot more stuff, enjoy yourself. The fantastic Xenon 2 Mega Blast. In at number 2, Championship Manager. I spent more hours on this than what I care to admit. Building Everton teams that conquered Europe and everything. It's just fantastic. You know, you go along and you basically be in charge of football club. So, you know, you'd buy your players, you'd sell your players, you'd put your formation out, you'd set your tactics, and then you'd have like your matches and stuff like that. You'd be in different competitions, like, you know, cup competitions and the league and all that sort of stuff. Players get injured, they get suspended, they wouldn't want to play for you. You were the gaffer, and I absolutely loved Championship Manager. In at number 1, and I know this is going to make Carl smile broadly, I think it made number 4 on the Amiga list, the Ultimate ST game, Dungeon Master. This was just... I'm not really sure what else to say that I didn't say last month in the Amiga one. If you didn't see that one, I basically just said about it being, there's that word again, innovative. It was the forebearer to things like Eye of the Beholder and many other games like that. You'd walk around the dungeon and you'd start off on like the first level, and you'd have to like walk through like a hall of champions, and you pick your 4 characters, trying your best to get like, you know, your combination, your D&D combination, like your wizard, you know, your warrior, your rogue, you know, etc. And you just walk around the dungeon like fighting monsters. The monsters come at you, and you'd be able to sort of like select what hand you had different weapons in, and your wizards could fire spells. And I think there's something like 10 levels. Like I said again last month, I never got to complete this game. I know Carl did. He's a much better player than I was, but yeah, I couldn't, in all honesty or all conscience, do an ST list without making Dungeon Master number 1. So folks, I hope you really, really enjoyed those, and give you a little bit of a nostalgia kick there, okay? Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with my top 10? What would you have put in? What would you have took out? What were your favourite ST games? Or were you a Commodore Amiga fan? You know, let me know anyway, guys, in the comments below. That's all for now. Next month's retro feature, we go onto the 8-bit consoles, so that will be the Nintendo Entertainment System. Alright, thanks a lot, guys. See you all next month.